So, back home at the ranch, anybody still have a few wants left? You want people to be a certain way? You want them to think a certain way? You want them to act a certain way? You want them to do certain things? Does anybody can relate to this? Yes, like our loved ones, our family members. Anybody believing somebody should do something or shouldn't do something? Yes, so there's still a piece of us left. So we can have a fantastic meditation, a fantastic experience, and then open our eyes, and then somebody gives us the look. So let's let that aspect, Reverend Roxanne spoke about it, like that victimization aspect. This is the oldest archetype in recorded history, by the way, the victim archetype. So since 2,000 recorded years, something is being done to me. It's against me. I'm going to get what I want. Loco. These innocent, naive, myths, magical, fairy tale, fictional thinking that we naturally took on. Because we didn't know as kids to question. We didn't know as kids that it was Kool-Aid not to drink it. So we drank it. And then we fell under the BS, the belief systems. And here we are. So, what's in your belief system? See if any of these ring a bell. I'm reading from a little book from thework.com. Thework.com. There's a reason it's called The Work, by the way. And it's from a book entitled Loving What Is. And I don't speak in terms of loving what is much because I do not love what is. I don't even like what is. However, rarely, and only for short periods of time am I a victim to what is. In that is liberation and freedom. So the work is a direction to go to in our life, a direction to go, not a destination. As far as I know, we don't just arrive somewhere. We don't arrive. There's not this notion of enlightenment is just another theory, another something to chase, another something to seek, to want, to need. The seeking is the hell. Any seeking is hell. The only time we suffer is when we believe a thought that argues with reality. You didn't have my mother. You didn't have my father. Didn't have my sister. Didn't have my husband 1, husband 2, husband 3. Partner 1, partner 2, didn't have my neighbor, didn't have that boss, didn't have that colleague, didn't have that cancer, didn't have that cat. Everything, every time in the world, we didn't get what we wanted. So let's let this aspect, there's seats right up here if you want them, honey. Let's let that aspect have a little life this morning. So I refer to this as the victim salute. So lift your dominant hand, lay it right on your forehead, and let it out. Oh! So this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. So the wanting is there. The wanting is also the hell. And then believing it's going to go the way I have in mind. Because who needs God when we've got you to run things? I know how it ought to be. And I better be consulted. You won't be. I won't be. darn. So then what to do? What to do if I envision something? I have dreams, I have goals, I have preferences. Naturally we have those. And you'll dream this, and you'll dream it and dream it and dream it, and you'll work for it and move toward it and think about it and pray about it and get a group together to join you in your vision. You're dreaming this, and then life goes, boop. What's off? What's off? This is what you imagined. This is what occurred. Which one is off? Your imagination. It is pure imagination. So reality rules. You don't have to like it. You don't have to love it. You don't have to vote for it. You don't have to prefer it, and it rules. So until we align with reality, guess who loses? Who loses if you go to war with reality? Who will lose? Only 100% of the time. Wake up to this. So it's either align with reality or suffer. Align with reality or more disappointment, more pain, more sadness, more despair, more powerlessness, more oppression that will turn right around and hand down to the next 7 generations. If this is not a circuit breaker brought in here via you and me to say, no, I'm not going to hand this down. I'm not going to hand down this fantasy. I'm not going to hand down this notion that we're going to get what we want. I'm going to hand down a firm, solid base of reality. I'm going to hand down the teaching. I'm going to hand down the unity principles. I create the reality. So whatever I name it, I experience. So if I name it awful, what will I experience? Awful. If I name it just what it is, how will I experience it? More peaceful, more aligned, in atonement, at one-ment. This is what is. So what is. Who voted? The mind, when the mind is perfectly clear, this book is free, by the way, at thework.com. A little excerpt. When the mind is perfectly clear, it can see that what is simply what is. So you have a flat tire. What are you going to call it? Flat tire. Literally, factually, actually, what it is. This is what is. So they don't invite you to your party. What are you going to call it? I didn't get invited. Period. See, the mind can't put the period in there. It's got to go, I didn't get invited, and I should have. I didn't get invited, and they don't like me. I didn't get invited, and I don't deserve it. Well, I do deserve it. After all I've done for her. It's like, so it can't put that period in there. So it's like you live with a period. She's angry at me. Like, drop the at me. She's angry. Period. So dropping that me, dropping that my, getting a period in there. Now, this is your little quiz on the differences between fantasy and reality to see if we can get in touch with this. Here's the common 2,000-year-old belief systems. The BS of 2,000 recorded years. Children should be well behaved. Thank you, choir. Fantasy or reality? Now, take this in. So this is your born-again experience today. So the next time a child is not well behaved, your response, instead of, what would be your response? Of course. Of course. Part of the natural human phenomena. Part of the natural learning processes. Part of the natural evolution of things. Of course. Way. My spouse should agree with me. Now, these are people that are in a relationship. Those in one are still holding out for your fantasy. It's really important to know that it's a fantasy. This is why I'm not asked to do marriage vows anymore, because they would look very different. I should be thinner. Like, that's made up. And if you go back to the thinnest you've ever been, you can see that you felt fatter then than you do now. Even at your thinnest, you didn't believe you were thin enough. Because it's insatiable. Infinite and insatiable. So this then implies that we can stop opposing what is and align with what is, accept what is, even if it's not what we had in mind. Like reality rules. Then it's incumbent on me for my own peace of mind, my own harmony, my own connection with my inner space to accept what I cannot change. Change what I can and know the difference. Sound easy? We get plenty of curriculum, I found. So the work, what we're doing here, what we'll do this afternoon, is like a sword. This is a quote from Eckhart Tolle and the work, about the work, that the work is a razor-sharp sword to cut right through the illusion and enable you to know for yourself reality and to know for yourself the timeless essence of your own being. Would that be okay with you? Yeah. To live your life a little freer, less velcroed, and less suffering. The work also reveals that what we think shouldn't have happened should have happened. Now, this can be a very bitter pill. It doesn't condone anything. It doesn't say it's okay. It simply says it should have happened simply because it did happen. That's all. Traffic shouldn't have flowed this morning. It had to be the way it was. It should have been the way it was. Just based on reality. Not based on my preferences, not based on my precious schedule. Just based on what is. See if you can say that out loud. What is. See if you can feel it, get a sense of it. What is. Get someone sitting by you and say it to them and witness it. What is. What is. This is what is. Now, the work reveals to us this. It should have happened simply because it did happen. This does not mean that you condone it, approve of it. It doesn't mean you have to love it or like it or prefer it. It simply is what it is. That's all. Put a period in there. Now, no sane parent would want a child to be ill. And do children have illness? Yes. Will children have illness? Yes. So how can it be helpful to you or that child when they're having illness to believe they shouldn't be having illness? How could that be helpful? It is not helpful to you or to the family or to a child to put a should in there when they're in a human phenomena of illness. No sane person would want to be in an accident. But are we in accidents? Do they happen? Is it the law of the physical? It's going to happen. So who would you be when those accidents happen if you were in alignment with the reality of it? That this is normal, run-of-the-mill phenomena of the physical. Who would you be with that new understanding? A better person, calmer, relieved, open to solution, more at peace, taking sensible action. Taking sensible action. Make sense? Well, let me share a little story with you of how I get to practice. So people, for some reason, because I talk and present and traipse around the world and do this, they somehow think I'm immune from it. Not yet. And even if you're immune 90%, you're just happy 90%. The 10% where you're not, that one relationship, that one woman, that one man, that one memory, whatever's left is where 100% of your pain is. So this work is about finishing that off. Seeing what's left of us, digging in there and like finishing it off. So I've been going over to Victoria, as Reverend Roxanne said, for 6 years. I've been serving ministries up there. And when you Google Martha Creek, some of you have already, it comes up with Martha Creek Provincial Park in the north of British Columbia. Now, who knew I had a park named for me? Like, wouldn't you have wanted to be notified if you had a park named for you? I could have been there for the opening, see. So no one told me. So I found it in the Google. So this has been going on now for about 15 years since this became an entity and became a business. So when you Googled, Martha Creek Provincial Park was the first thing that came in. Now when you Google Martha Creek as an entity comes in, it's above the Martha Creek Provincial Park. And in that shift of that position, it caught my attention. It had to shift its position for me to like tune in on that and go, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there. I'm going to call it a bucket list. I've got to do this. So I mapped a plan. I'm going to do it. How will I fly? Where will I fly? Where will I get there? What will it cost? How far is it to drive? How will I get a car? Then I just laid it all out. Then I told Reverend Doris and Victoria, I'm going to do this. And then she says, no, don't do any of that. I'm going to go with you. I want you to fly to Victoria. I will drive you. And I'm thinking, oh, it's the same province. Must be around the corner. Well, some of you have been to British Columbia, it sounds like. Or you've actually looked at a map. So fly to Victoria, take a car on a ferry, which was fantastic, by the way. Oh, and just the journey. Now, in the meantime, another friend from Ohio wants to go, wait, I want to go. It's a girls' trip. We'll have a great time. Okay, now there's 3. Then the journey was so sweet. That trip across that ferry. And then just as we're ready to go, Doris says, oh, I didn't check the ferry schedule. So now I had in mind to be at Martha Creek Provincial Park before dark that day. Because I need a picture by the sign. By my sign. So now what? She forgot she lived on an island. So now, on the ferry schedule, delayed, won't make it before dark, maybe not before dark. And it's like, this will not ruin this journey for me. Period. There's a choice in this matter. So I was as present as I've ever been. The beauty of that drive. Can you go into the slides, honey? The beauty of the drive was fantastic. You know how it is? Have you been over there? Like these mountains and trees, and this one tree that was this bright, vivid gold, and lakes and rivers and water, and just fantastic, just all the way up there. She was loving chauffeuring and driving me and just having the biggest old time there was. So it was a day of heaven. Just the journey was so sweet. We got there at dark, got the hotel room, and mapped a new plan to go over there the next morning to have breakfast and get up there at early for my picture by my sign, because I'm going to use it for the cover of my book. This will be the cover of my book. That'll be the cover of my book. In imagination. Are you with me? So I'm still imagining. But boy, am I in action? Am I working for it? Am I dreaming for it? Am I taking action for it? Am I praying for it? Am I have collaboration for it? Oh, you betcha. So the last 2 kilometers, or whatever you call it, from Revelstoke to this place, even better than the day before. It was the most beautiful part. That last little part from Revelstoke up there was even more beautiful than all that 8 hours the day before. So it was getting better and better. And I just kept saying, can you pull over? Can you pull over? Like, I just wanted to get out. And they're like, we got to get to the sign. I'm like, no, pull over. Can you just pull over? It's like just wanting to take it in. Like the journey. So less about the destination. More about presence, more about the journey here. So she kept stopping. I'd get out and just stand there and awe. Then it's like we're getting close to the sign. It's like the last thought I remember having was, how could this get any better? How could this get any better? And then life showed me how it could get any better. This is the sign. Mm-hmm.
On screen is a photo of Martha standing next to a provincial park sign completely shrouded in an ugly blue tarpaulin.
Now, I'm just absolutely here to tell you, I laughed like I've never laughed. So God's response to my question, how could it get any better, was this. And you know, it was right. It was true. That will make a better book cover than that other picture. I was laughing my guts off, just laughing. I could not stop laughing. Now, the friends with me weren't. They did not find it nearly as I did. And they immediately went into the human phenomena and the spectrum of the human phenomena, which was disciplined Doris and determined Diane. And disciplined, determined Diane was like, get a hold of this rope, we're going to uncover this sign. And disciplined Doris, who happens to be a resident of the province, said, don't touch the sign. We're on federal property. I don't want to be arrested. So I got to watch my internal, the aspects of me and the external, while I laughed and took in the beauty of my own work and the solid ground that I'm on. That when I don't get what I wanted, what I dreamed for, worked for, talked about, paid for, how is it even better? So it didn't turn out like I had in mind. It was perfect instead. It won't turn out like you have in mind. It'll be perfect instead. I live for those exhales. So cancel what you thought you had to do this afternoon and stay so we can finish you off. It's such a good day. It's such a good day to die to that. I love you and cannot help it. It's an absolute privilege to be here to serve you. My mission in life is a very, very simple one, and that is to serve those who serve. So I naturally believe that that's what you are. So I know who you are. I know what you are. And I know how you serve. And if there's a way that I can support that or lift you up in that, get me word. And then this is a little MP3 format. Now, if you don't know what an MP3 is, don't take one. It will be frustrating to you. So it doesn't play in CD players. It looks like a CD, but it's not. So it's a different format. But it's so I can get 12 talks on one thing. And I've put this out so that our message can get out into the world. So it's me talking in various Unity churches around the world. And you're welcome to take it, to have one. And if you do, I ask that you become a co-inspirator with me on how to get this message out into the world. So these are meant to be sown, planted. So if you love it, listen to it, benefit from it, learn from it, whatever you do. If you don't love it, give it to somebody you don't like. Get even with them. Throw it out your car window, leave it in a doctor's office, just do anything with it to keep it moving out into the world, please. And if you want to leave a donation for them, you're welcome to. It's not required. I take whatever donations come. In exchange, I go print more of them, take them to the next place. That's how it works. And they're right here. Okay. It's time to begin. Crawl out of that skin. And the allure to step back into it is mighty. The allure to pick it up again. The temptation of mind. So lead us not into the temptation. Deliver us from the allure. Deliver us into the new way. For thine is the power. There is the power. There is the glory. There is the new possibility. And we say yes to that. And so it is.